It was really easy. We had been through our usual routes of, regular hospital inpatients. Nothing was working, so I decided to go out on the internet on my own and just do a search for residential behavior programs. And when I found adolescent growth, it kept popping up at the top of every list I was coming to. Made the phone call, and within 3 hours, they had called me back, said insurance was verified, and within 3 days, we had an admission date. So it was very quick. I didn't expect it to be that quick. I was expecting a waiting list, and they said, no, what day can you be here? And I picked a date, and they said, awesome, we'll see you. We really felt cared for. So I couldn't ask for a better experience. I did our family sessions over the phone. I did the Thursday night parent group through Skype or video link. And then we came here for our first in-person visit this past Saturday. And I have to say, I really enjoyed the in-person visit the most. Yeah, it seemed more meaningful. You were more connected to the other parents that were there. And of course, your child got to join in with you at the second half. So we had to do a little activity where we got to make a bookmark. And as a family, each family unit got to just kind of converse together and come up with solutions together. And I don't feel like we would have been able to have done that if I would have done it through the video link. The first couple of weeks, she was mad. She was mad at me. And no phone calls, didn't hear from her. And finally, the therapist made it mandatory that she calls, 2 or 3 times a week. And so when she did, it kind of opened up the door for her to see I wasn't doing this because I was mad at her or that I didn't like her. I was doing this because I loved her. And they really, they helped with that. It was very hard. Yeah. I've never spent that much time away from her without talking to her. But it's kind of bittersweet because now we have communication, we talk, and we hear each other. And it's been because of the therapy, the family therapy. Don't give it a second thought. Just do it. It's life-changing for the whole family. I have 4 girls, including the one that's here. And my husband and I, it seems like we lost control in our house, and most of it stemmed from behaviors. Now that I've learned to change some things that I do, even with the other kids while she's been gone, it has truly been transformational. Just the way you communicate certain things to these kids, you learn those things here through the family sessions and the parenting groups. And it's been amazing, the changes over the past 2 months. The house itself, it's beautiful. It's clean, it's big. And when I actually first pulled into the drive for the first time, I thought, am I at the right place? Because it wasn't what I expected. I had seen a few photos online, but it still wasn't what I expected. I think the first question I asked when I walked in the door was, do you guys lock the doors? And they said, no, it's completely unlocked, it has to be. And I said, well, what if they try to leave? And she said, then we call the police when they get to the end of the driveway. And I have to be honest, I was a little skeptical about that because I thought, she's gonna leave. She hasn't tried not one time. The staff has just made her feel welcome, and the home just, it's cozy, it's comforting. It feels like a home. The day we brought her and admitted her, I made it very clear that I'm really against medication unless it's absolutely necessary. And one of the things I'd seen online was they take a more holistic approach here. And that's what I was going after. And so I think it was the day after I got home or the next day, I get an email saying he wants to start her on medication. So I was like, oh no, we're going down the wrong road. But then I had a conversation with the therapist and the treatment team, and they had told me it's really necessary with her. They brought me to a point of understanding that medication needs to be a part of her treatment. And we've rolled with it ever since. I realize it's not a lifetime medication approach, hopefully not with her. She just needs a little help to get past these rough teenage years. And she's had some things happen in her life to where I've come to that understanding she needs some help to get through it, and it really has sent her in a true depression. So I agree with everything they're wanting to do. They're very friendly. They're very understanding. At the end of her disengagement period, I had called and I was like, okay, I want to talk to my daughter now. They explained to me they have the residents call the family instead of the family calling here for them. And I thought, well, why? And at first I really didn't agree with that. I didn't understand it. And they said because it's really on the residents' part to start building that relationship with the family. If they call, that shows they're having the urge to have that relationship. So that was like the breaking point, not really a breaking point, but it was like an understanding moment between me and the staff. And this was floor staff that explained this to me. It wasn't a therapist. So I thought, well, gosh, if the floor staff is this knowledgeable about how the program goes, they've got to be there because they care enough to want to know this much about the program and how it works. So I just felt like for them to be able to explain that, they've got some caring staff. These people are here because they want to be here, not because it's just another job. And that's the first thing Colleen said to me when I started to leave after admission night. She gave me a hug and she said, "Thank you for trusting me with your child." And I just thought, she's where she needs to be. I know when Kaylin has been in hospitals before and other programs, I've always been leery about the connections she would make with other clients. And I have to honestly say, through the transformations that she's made and the transformations the other residents have made, Kaylin has made positive connections with other kids across the state of Illinois, across the country even. There's a young lady on the West Coast, or the East Coast, that she has become really good friends with. And I really feel, after meeting with the young lady this past Saturday, they're both going to be a good influence on each other. And that's going to be a lifelong connection she's going to have. So there's more to it than just the treatment. It's making connections with other people that's been through where she's been.